Hey there, I just got out of purgatory, and I basically was told last week that I could do a promotional video for Sundazed, and I was super excited because it's from one of my favorite albums ever made, and worked really hard on it, have one of the most surreal, coolest videos I've ever made for a certain part of this release that came out. And I've run into some debacles, and then today I was asked for some information. One thing I learned a long time ago in life, if someone asks you for something, just give them 200%. Give them as much as you can. Go the extra yards. Like when I was in college, a lot of times there'd be like a semester, end of the semester project, and you can choose one or the other. I'd do both of them. I'm always trying to do the best I can do. Same with music research. Got all this stuff, it's just unreleased. And I stopped posting videos on it because maybe someday, if I have the means to start my own company, I will. Because nobody's going to hire me to research and find stuff for them. So maybe someday I'll have the money to do it myself. And I would, if I had a company, I'd do like what this company does here that releases all the David Axelrod's material. They actually go analog reel to analog. So it's the highest fidelity you're going to get, except for maybe an original reel to reel. And this sounds ace because it is analog to analog. You have that more of a sound spectrum. So what this has turned into is the second volume of Uncapping the Recap. And this one's going to be about music. And I'm going to get this endeavor done. Here's, I was going to do this really cool psychedelic video for Sundazed. I did one before promoting their Ultimate Spinach Behold and See album. That beautiful green album. I put it on my blog. I think it might be on YouTube. Not for sure, though. But tonight, I won't be playing music except for that made by Alan Lorber and his orchestra. And I'm going to demonstrate the different stereos that I use and the different sound qualities from the stereo version to it's a mono promo, an original, and then I've got the Sundazed issue. And this is going to be cool. It's going to be awesome. And then I'll talk a little bit about music and stuff. I've been a vinyl junkie since for quite some time. Not too long, but long enough to where my fingers have passed over probably close to between 500,000 and a million albums. Just got a bad addiction, sound junkie. But I travel, about 30,000 miles a year looking for record albums. And it doesn't sound like much, but it's only about 7 months out of the year that I'm traveling. And I love it. My goal is to just collect these albums of music that I like, psychedelic, progressive music, stuff like that. Some punk, very little metal, but I just travel around, collect, and then the stuff I don't want, I trade at record shops, or I sell to record shops if there's nothing to trade for. I have clients in 4 different states, and I love it. I'm always coming across something new. I just did my first record show, the 4-state record show, which I made at 5-state last month, and I did 200% better than what anybody else thought I'd do. And I set up 3 hours after the show started. When you got an addiction like mine, you got to look at the records first and then set up to sell. So I did some good trading and selling there. It was fun. So let me take you through a little bit of my soundscapes and stuff, and demonstrate and just kind of maybe talk you through some things, and let's have some fun. Don't spill your beer at home. I spilt it on my pants, luckily. They're getting washed tonight with the rest of this monkey suit. Yes, my soul got purged of its sins in purgatory tonight. I think I'm ready for heaven. How about you? A good beer is a live beer. A live beer will shoot out of the top sometimes. Just, So, take you over to this first player. I made a mistake and told Mr. Millar at Sundazed that the 3 players I had, I think he thinks the problem might be my record players, but this is a Sony. It's not a Pioneer, and it's not a Kenwood like I thought. And this is the Lotus Palace on Verve by the Alan Lorber Orchestra. This is total creamy psych. It's beautiful. This is ace. And it's always been one of my faves. When I see it, I pick it up. I like Exotica. I like the psych. It's just, it's beautiful. So, kind of off topic, but on topic. This band here, Osmosis, they originally recorded a double album for RCA, but only one album was released. And RCA reissued it in 2017, and they only did the one album. See, it's stuff like that I'd like to reissue, you know, or give a first issue to. Here's a cool one I was listening to last night. It's called The Human Expression. Love at the Psychedelic Velocity. And it's pretty cool. Not a bad album. It's got a 45 I didn't get a chance to listen to last night, so I'll listen to it maybe tonight or tomorrow. My 45 days tomorrow, so I'll go through all these 45s I've got. Only a few so far going in the vault, which is the keepers. The rest are probably going to be traded, all that stuff. But, good stuff. So now, going to go into this other system, which I have a Technics in this one. I don't know why that skipped, but here's that music that sounds like something out of Apocalypse Now, or it should have been in it. Freaking amazing. Now this 2 player's been warming up for say about 45 minutes. And it's a original. This is what I did the Sundazed promotional video with the Ultimate Spinach. It was either this or the Frankenstein. And about a month and a half ago, I didn't warm the Frankenstein up before I put the record on. I just put the record on. And the Frankenstein caught on fire. So it's in an electronic graveyard right now. This I warm up. It's a Voice of Music player. It's a console. And it's kind of like the first idea of like a surround sound system, because these speakers here, that speaker there's another one. They have long speaker cord wires with them, so you can put them anywhere around the room to position them. And again, there's that all over. And so I've got the original booklet of the Voice of Music, and I bought it from the original owner. Actually, the original owner was, he was, I think, a soldier in Alaska, but his son is who I bought it from, who is probably 60, 70 years old. This is like the highest end system you could get back then, I guess. And I got a good deal on it, and I'm super happy to have it because it's really a nice warm sound. Can't beat it. And plus, it has a stacker on it. But you don't want to put I mean, like, super expensive albums you don't want to put on these, because they'll drop, and then, it'll play each album and keep dropping them on each other. That's not really too healthy for the records. So you don't want anything too rare, too expensive on there, because that tends to drop a lot. But it's pretty cool, and it's good for the bubble bath situation, Just go in, take a bubble bath, listen to albums, have some drinks, whatever. And this has monorail, stereo, phono, tape, radio, TV. Now, when this says tape, it means reel-to-reel tape. And then there's your loudness, volume, and balance, treble, bass. It has 16-speed, 33, 78, and 45. And it's a really beautiful piece of machinery. Can't find much on them, but I do have the owner's manual and all the stuff that came with it. In fact, I'll give you an example here on a record dropping down. Alan Lorber's not that rare. I mean, I come across him very frequently. There, it dropped. That was very, very mellow. Okay, so I was going to do this video for Sundays, but I don't think I really need to because I'm advertising new stuff. First piece of music I ever bought was, I'd say, Asia. I bought that Asia debut. I love the drums to it. I was 7 years old, and it was cool. I liked it. Music I bought was my first record. I was 8 years old, used my allowance to buy Van Halen 1, and that was awesome. Really liked that. My Uncle Darren, he's now a priest, he influenced me with the Van Halen, just because he was always playing it and stuff. That's how much I like Van Halen. This is an original U.S. tour, USA Invasion. Super cool. I'm a big Van Halen fan. But first CD I got was either Led Zeppelin live at Rotterdam in '77 or Iron Maiden's that I bought with my own money. Iron Maiden, Somewhere in Time. My first CD that I got, my dad gave me, and that was classic Yes, which is a bunch of Yes songs. And my grandma and grandpa Clemens, my step-grandparents, were instrumental in giving me this counsel. I hadn't had a record player or records for 15, 20 years, I don't know, a long time. And they were going to throw their counsel out. I'm like, well, I'll take that. It didn't work that well, but sometimes I could get it to work. And started buying records here and there, nothing too big. And then I got this wonderful woman in my life, and I just got the Vanilla Fudge on vinyl, and she hated the CD. I loved Sundazed, put that CD out, one of my most played CDs ever. I loved that. Just a great listen. She couldn't stand it. Well, got the vinyl, and she fell in love with the album. That's how much of a difference there is in sound frequencies. Some people say it's white noise. It's bullshit. Because you can hear a hell of a lot more on an original pressed album than you can on anything remastered. Not even close. It'll have a different sound to it. But, anyway. So, matter of fact, first album I bought when I started collecting was down in Florida. Her and I went camping. And also stayed at a house in Ocala. And there it is, Black Pearl. So I got that. It was overpriced, of course. You learn things over the years. You learn how to deal with people as time goes on, you know. And got that as a keepsake anyway. I'm not a fan of Bernie Fielding's output, but I heard it was a cool album, read it was psych. Doesn't get my bag, but I don't know when I kind of I've always been a sound junkie. I mean, just CDs, tapes. I went up and worked for my Uncle Mike up in Chicago doing construction. Oh, Brad Koch was with me, I think. 17 years old, something like that, 18. And Uncle Mike took me to Rolling Stone. It's a music store in Chicago. I blew my whole month's paycheck on CDs. I'm just a big fan of music, you know. My uncle's like, you sure know what you're doing? And I was in my punk phase. Heaven Descendants, Black Flag, Suicidal Tendencies, Fear, Circle Jerks. You know, I had all this good stuff. I didn't know about the British punk like Subhumans or The Exploited. But the American stuff, I was versed with the West Coast stuff, so I was real happy. Like, yeah, Mike, I know what I'm doing. I'm getting what I want. That's what I work for. And so that was cool. Then the record, my grandma and grandpa Clemens, they gave me that counsel. And then I upgraded. I started hunting for stuff. When I'd see it, I'd pick it up and get like, sorry, long night at work. I'm just like this filthy, sweaty, scummy mess. But I smell like good beer. Prost! So, I just start collecting. And then I start getting a lot of stuff. I learned, I don't know what the epiphany was, but pick up everything you don't want, because somebody else is going to want it. And before you know it, I started making a living doing it. But it's always, my passion for it has always been for my own ears and for a woman in this lava lamp atmosphere that I've built, where we can make a family, just procreate many, many nights for many, many years. It's probably not going to happen. Wah, wah, wah. Oh well. You know, everything's meant to be. So, pretty much just a hermit. I don't go out. They don't play music like this out there. I've kind of made my own Lotus Palace. I like this album. It's so dreamy. It's beautiful. One of the bonus tracks on the Sundazed reissue is like something that should have been an Apocalypse Now. It's scary. It's very, it's ear-opening, eye-opening, mind-opening. It's a little scary. It should have been on Apocalypse Now, though. I did notice in 2 of the bonus tracks that you can hear voices saying something, but you can't understand what's being said. So that made me think the reason they weren't released originally is because when Louie Louie came out, there was a huge slam by the government on subliminal messages and songs. So the government was looking for subliminal messages of anything that was not outright stated. Pardon me. You couldn't put subliminal messages in songs after Louie Louie. And the government would, it was a pretty hardcore thing. They'd shut you down or whatever. So maybe these songs weren't released because they were kind of subliminal. It even says in the liner notes of the Alan Orbit Orchestra, this record is not the debut of a new musical group. It is rather an indoctrination into a way of thought and a way of life. So maybe they're saying something kind of indoctrinating when they're mumbling these things in the bonus material. I mean, the bonus material is cool stuff. Subliminal messages aren't cool. That's Mike Muir of Suicidal Tendencies. Song Subliminal. Good stuff. But I only have maybe, I don't have that many records. Though I've been doing this as a living for 7 years. I probably have maybe 600 albums that I listen to in my collection. And then just some are for decoration. I like the covers. If I had to pick 10 albums for Desert Island Living, 10 albums ever, one hasn't been released, but it's out there in its full entirety, and that's Don Robertson's Dawn. I've been trying to get a hold of the right people to get that released, and that includes Don and I doing it ourselves, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I've been told one thing and I'm getting the other, so don't know. But Canterbury Glass, Sacred Scenes and Characters, definitely. It's in there. Vanilla Fudge, The Beat Goes On. I definitely do the Sundazed release of Morally Grey. Man, what a kick-ass double release. Not only the album, but you get that whole album of live material. It's just smoking hot. It's good. I know there's a lot of bands that can just wail off. Their stuff hasn't been released, but I know what it is. But I guess it doesn't count because it can't be had. Song of Innocence by David Axelrod. Maybe Bobby Calendar's debut is just super interesting. That one of the bonus tracks on the Alan Orbit Orchestra sounds like the background music for one of Bobby Calendar's songs where his voice is distorted. And he was in good with Lorber. Him and Alan Lorber did The Groupies. Made the dildos of all the rock stars and stuff. So you could sleep with Jimi Hendrix. You could sleep with Robert Plant. You could sleep with whatever guy they got the penis plaster thing from. I don't know the process of it, but they somehow did it. Yep. So anyway. Emerson, Lake and Palmer's debut. Jimi Hendrix and the Experience debut. I think I have one more album that I can pick. Probably Yo La Tango. I can feel the heart beating as one. If I could pick a 45, and only one 45 for a desert island, it'd be Blue Cheer's Sun Cycle. Without a second thought. So that's to uncap the recap. It's pretty. Yes songs. That's a tough one not to pick.